on the outside. You got to watch that matchup. Here, though, they're just going to run it and get more than that. It's Ezekiel Elliott, who's out near the 35.
The Emerald Isle Roadrunners defeat the Memphis Mafia by a score of 24-17. Bob Middleman is the head coach of the Emerald Isle Roadrunners, and Jay Villing is the head coach of the Memphis Mafia. Quarterback Matthew Stafford had a nice game, completing 21 of 34 pass attempts for 200 yards, with 3 TDs and only 1 interception. But Ezekiel Elliott is the player of the game, rushing 21 times for 83 yards, and for the third week in a row, he led all receivers with 9 receptions for 61 yards. Elliott has had 3 good games and is looking like the Roadrunner MVP. Memphis ran the heck out of the ball, 21 rushing attempts for 186 yards, but superstar quarterback Patrick Mahomes had another tough day, completing only 19 of 40 pass attempts for 189 yards, 1 TD, and 2 interceptions. Jay is a good coach. I'm sure he will set Mahomes right and go on a run to the playoffs. The Roadrunners are now 3-0, and the Mafia is now 1-2.
Just a yard away out of the gun. They get the pass over to Elliott. Oh, he bobbled it for a moment, but re-grabbed it. And
getting behind those pads and punishing people.
Bridgewater down the middle, and he's got DJ Moore. First down inside the Tampa Bay 25.
The Greenwich Spartans defeat the Dracut Middies by a score of 19-16. Scott Smith is the head coach of the Greenwich Spartans, and Michael Stuckey is the head coach of the Dracut Middies. Quarterback Teddy Bridgewater stepped up this week, making him the player of the game. He completed 13 of his 22 pass attempts for 135 yards with 2 TDs. The Spartans continue to use a two-headed monster at halfback. Aaron Jones had 11 rushing attempts for 62 yards, and Shaquan Barkley had 15 rushing attempts for 74 yards. The Middies also had a strong running game, rushing 31 times for 163 yards. Quarterback Matt Ryan was just average this game, completing 17 of his 30 pass attempts for 134 yards with 1 TD. The Greenwich Spartans are now 3-0, and the Dracut Middies are now 1-2.
Davis to the end zone for the touchdown. Bridgewater going to go deep down this sideline. It is caught at about the 35.
Down to 9. Hunter Renfrow in there, of course. Here's Carr now. Throwing. Zips it for Waller. Went up to get it and has the first down.
The Brooklyn Stars defeat the Texas Gunslingers by a score of 30-23. Vincent Mancini is the head coach of the Brooklyn Stars, and Randy Leeper is the head coach of the Texas Gunslingers. The player of the game is quarterback Derek Carr. He completed 25 of his 30 pass attempts for 198 yards with 1 TD. His 1 TD came with 15 seconds left in the game, a 53-yard strike to wide receiver Kendrick Bourne. The $7 million man, Dalvin Cook, took the pressure off the quarterback with his 23 rushing attempts for 123 yards. Wide receiver Bourne had 6 receptions for 92 yards and, of course, the 1 TD. Russell Wilson had a good game, completing 28 of 41 for 281 yards, with 3 TDs and 2 interceptions. Tight end Darren Waller had 7 receptions for 93 yards and scored 1 TD with 45 seconds remaining in the game. Only a miracle from Derek Carr kept the Gunslingers from victory. The Brooklyn Stars are now 2-1, and the Texas Gunslingers are disappointing 1-2.
From the 19. It's all the passing game now. There's his most trusted target. Again, it is. Pocket's good. Goff buys some time and throws down the sideline for Quentin Cephas. He's got it. Working on Kevin King for 46 yards. 2nd and goal.
The Eau Claire Rockers defeat the Chippewa Valley Badgers by a score of 24-7. Steve Brandvold is the head coach of the Eau Claire Rockers, and Larry Zorn is the head coach of the Chippewa Valley Badgers. The Rockers could do no wrong this game. The player of the game is Jared Goff. He completed 32 of his 46 pass attempts for 222 yards, 3 TDs, and 2 interceptions. The Rockers' run game was dominant, 27 rushing attempts for 134 yards. Deebo Samuels was spectacular. 20 receptions for 139 yards and 2 TDs. What a guy. What can I say about the Badgers? Once again, it was the terrific Tom Brady show. The only problem was, Tom forgot the terrific part. Brady completed 15 of 31 pass attempts for only 111 yards. He had 0 TDs and 2 interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. Devin Singletary had 6 rushing attempts for 8 yards and 6 receptions for 31 yards. The Eau Claire Rockers are now 2-1. And the Chippewa Valley Badgers are 1-2.
Win for the moment. How should just contend for a playoff spot? Goff. And a good catch. And a first down. TJ Hockenson at midfield.
Press the back. 1st and 10. Mac Jones. Harris again bursting free into the secondary and brought down by Jerome Baker. That's an 11-yard gain, moving the chains. Boy, he has run well to start this season for the Pats.
The Florence Freedom defeat the Washington Deadskins by a score of 24-14. Brandon Wright is the head coach of the Florence Freedom, and Andrew Jatso is the head coach of the Washington Deadskins. I got to give the player of the game to the halfbacks. Damian Harris rushed 19 times for 78 yards with 2 TDs. Rashard Penny ran 9 times for 78 yards. Quarterback Joe Burrow was average. He completed 18 of his 35 pass attempts for 209 yards, 1 TD, and 1 interception. The Deadskins quarterback Josh Allen did not overdo it this week. He played within himself. He completed 18 of his 24 pass attempts for 163 yards, 1 TD, and 1 interception. It was the run game that let the Deadskins down this week. 26 rushing attempts for only 93 yards. This may have been the O-line's fault. They also allowed 6 sacks of the quarterback. The Florence Freedom is now 2-1, and the Washington Deadskins are now 1-2.
To the 27 of Miami.
Excellent job by Harris. Watch how he hurdles the tackler here. He's able to avoid, get around it, and then the stiff arm gets to the outside.
Carr stepping up, throwing over the middle. That's Jacobs out of the backfield, ditches a couple of tacklers, still on his feet, and now down at about the 25, maybe the 24-yard line.
The Portland Storm defeated the Sheboygan Mashers by a score of 24-13. Windsor Cooper is the head coach of the Portland Storm, and Mark Flasher is the head coach of the Sheboygan Mashers. The Storm got its much-needed first victory of the season. The player of the game is Josh Jacobs. He rushed 20 times for 137 yards with 1 TD. Quarterback Justin Herbert was not bad, completing 15 of his 23 pass attempts for 139 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. The Mashers played well, but someone had to lose. Halfback James Conner might have been the player of the game if his team had won. 16 rushing attempts for 121 yards. Dak Prescott also had a nice game, completing 20 of his 27 pass attempts for 174 yards with 1 TD and 1 interception. CeeDee Lamb had 12 receptions, but only 76 yards and no TDs. The Portland Storm is now 1-2, and the Sheboygan Mashers are now 1-2.
Now they're trying to deliver a knockout punch with a jumbo formation. Carr on a handoff, going up top. Josh Jacobs, touchdown, Las Vegas.
22 gets the ball and gets a hole and room to run. Midfield. Inside the 40-yard line before he is knocked down.
The Toronto Titans defeat the Sarasota Strat-Cats by a score of 28-27. Rudy Gobbin is the head coach of the Toronto Titans, and Ryan Davenport is the head coach of the Sarasota Strat-Cats. This is a very close game. Both teams played really well. The player of the game is Derrick Henry. 22 rushing attempts for 125 yards with 2 TDs. Yeah, finally a breakout game. Quarterback Jimmy G continues to be productive, completing 27 of his 34 pass attempts for 177 yards, 2 TDs, and 2 interceptions, unfortunately. The Strat-Cats lost this game, but put up some good stats. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers completed 19 of 30 for 165 yards, 2 TDs, and only 1 interception. Halfback Nick Chubb rushed 18 times for 132 yards. Wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. had 5 receptions for 69 yards, 1 TD, and 1 two-point conversion. The Toronto Titans are now 1-2. And the Sarasota Strat-Cats are also 1-2.
Henry breaking free. 20, 25, off to the races. They may not catch him. They won't catch him. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Hello, League. Only 5 players watched the video I did left for last week. So this week I made it easy on myself again. No box scores and no bells and whistles. If stuff like this keeps up, I mean, I enjoy doing these videos, don't get me wrong, but they do take a lot of time. So if nobody's watching them, I may cut it down to 2 or 4 videos a year, or maybe even just not do it next year. Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, for those of you that are watching this, I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud, he's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there goes the Spider-Man. In the chill of night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Wealth and fame, he's ignored. Action is his reward. To him, life is a great big bang up. Wherever there's a hang up, you'll find the Spider-Man.